Hello everyone! Welcome to my final impressions of Mario Kart 8. The reason why I didn't do a first impressions is because I completed the game so quickly, it's not even worth it. I might as well give you just a full-fledged review, more of a talk and play. Oh boy. I'm gonna start off and just say this game is horribly disappointing. Wow. Okay, so why is it disappointing? So you know how in most games, in any reasonable franchise ever, they add stuff to each one of their sequels? You know, sometimes they'll recycle content, but they'll still, you know, add stuff in. This stuff, if it doesn't recycle it, it completely strips it out. I know, right? So let's look around first. First, where's the options menu? There isn't one. There's no stat tracking, as far as I can tell. There's no ways to adjust your volume. There's no way to do really anything. And there's no control schemes cycling anyway, so yeah. If you don't like how the controls are set up, too bad. Nintendo is our Jesus. We should worship them. And they would not give us an options menu because they know our feeble minds would not be able to comprehend it. We would do something terrible. Praise be to Nintendo. I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit annoyed because I'm seeing every Nintendo fanboy completely just praising this game to the sun about how much they love it. I think this is one of the most disappointing Mario Kart games I've ever played. And I love the frickin' franchise. Calm down. Let's just get into the game to figure out why. Actually, really quickly. So, let's just go around this menu. Mario Kart TV, that is a new feature for YouTube. You can basically get highlight reels of the game and you can upload them to YouTube, which is nice. I like that. But it only does it in 720p. So, you know, if you have a capture card, this is kind of useless. Although I'm hearing that Nintendo automatically monetizes, or at least takes 20% of the monetization when you post a video from the Mario Kart TV. So I don't know if that's true or not, but if they do, that's terrible. And they know it's because the PS4 and Xbox One are doing it, but then again, the Sony and Microsoft aren't completely screwing their customers over like that and not monetizing YouTube videos because they know it's free advertising. But okay, whatever. So you have online 1-player and 2-player. Can't do 3 and 4, so you can't do like 4-player online. Now, as far as performance goes, there are some issues I've been having with the game. First off, the game, I think it's in 720p, I'm not sure. It looks like 720p upscaled. Now, the game runs at 60 frames per second with 1 to 2 players. Anything more than that, and it locks at 30. Now, I've been testing this game when I had my friends over and we were playing 3-player. The game has some horrendous screen tearing issues, which is basically kind of like a screen shake issue. Like it's really hard to explain, but it's like this visual shake effect that's like, it looks like it's tearing and shaking at the same time. It's some of you who have played on PC or play like console a lot and have seen some games like that perform badly, you probably will understand it. The PC with VSync, but oh, it's just horrible, and it's there's a lot of it, like a lot. To a point where it almost makes some tracks unplayable, or it makes some moments unplayable where it's like you could just like careen off like the road and like you can miss an item. It can be that bad. So let's get into it. So you have 4 modes. No new game modes because Nintendo. They don't have to do it because everyone will buy it. Well, at least the courses are cool, right? Oh, God. Oh, let's get into that in a minute. So we have battle mode, which is your traditional battle mode. Except, okay, so you know how in every other Mario Kart game ever with battle mode, you had like arena-style tracks, like Pipe Plaza, or I think it was Luigi's Mansion. I'm only thinking of the GameCube ones right now, but basically you would have these small, they were like up to 4, in the GameCube stage, like you would have up to 4 players, and they would duke it out in one arena. Now before anyone says like, oh, well, it's because it's on, like, okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself. There's none of those in this game. There's no arena-style tracks. You only play on tracks that are in the traditional racing mode. Which would be almost acceptable, because on online mode, you're playing up to 16 players, alright? You would have to make huge arenas, or it would be very difficult to make those huge arenas. And then I guess maybe they tried to test them and it didn't work. But guess what? When you do it with like 4 players locally in battle mode, it's terrible, because the tracks are so large. People are, like, it takes forever to finish a match, and it's all timed. So, like, you could end up, like, a match just becoming a stalemate every time. It's horrible. So, yeah, maybe for, like, 16 plus players, it's decent. I mean, and it is kind of decent. Some maps are alright, but others, like, when you're doing with less players, ugh. Versus race, you have your race modes with custom rules. I'll get into that right now. Actually, I'll just explain these really quick. Time trials, it's just records competing. You can compete online. And you have Grand Prix, which is your traditional... You race 4 new cups, which are 16 new tracks and 16 remastered ones. Alright, let's just see versus race the customization options in here first. So, you know what? Yeah, alright, so... What you received, that was the character selection screen, which I should slow down a bit. So, the character customization screen, picking a character affects nothing gameplay-wise. You might get a different style kart paint job, and that's it. Unlockable characters, you can get them from beating parts of the Grand Prix, depending on what difficulty you play them at. I've almost unlocked all of them. I think you can just play at 150cc and you can get most of them. Now you have your track, you also have your car customization. If you hit plus on the game controller, I believe it's 2 on the Wiimote. Yeah, but if you hit that button, you can get this little thing that'll show you what all these parts do. Now, the system is ripped right from Mario Kart 7. With no additions whatsoever. It's body, wheel, and then glider type. They didn't add anything. You know what? A lot of these car parts are exactly the same. So I'm just trying to find one here. See this one? Both of them are bikes. Now, they added bikes again, and carts as well. Bikes tend to have better handling. Carts have better traction, which is the main difference. And then everything else is weight, acceleration, speed, for the most part. Now, we're going to just pick here. Alright. Now, these are the customization options. So you can do team game, no teams, items, shells only, beginners only. So there's some decent customization, but not a lot. Like, let's try frantic mode. I tried to do it and I just didn't see any difference. So maybe random items have gotten faster, but I prefer just like only special items. But Nintendo doesn't want you to have fun. So you can have, excuse me. Computer players, so for those who don't know, 50cc, 100cc, and 150 are just like the speeds. And then you have, like the AI kind of scales to it. And then you can have like difficult, easy, or normal setting of computer players. So let's just go, we're going to do 100cc because it's difficult for me to record while commentating, or difficult for me to play while commentating. It's really difficult for anyone. We're going to do choose, and then we're going to do 3 races. Well, I'm pretty much going to show you one. Now, here are the 16 new courses and the 16 remastered ones. There's only 2 GameCube ones, for those who want to know, because the GameCube version of Mario Kart, Double Dash, was probably one of the best ones ever. Now, I'm going to show you some of the new tracks, actually, because... I'm going to show you Rainbow Road, actually, because I want to show you just how uninspired these tracks are. And that's the biggest complaint I have with this game. The tracks are lifeless. The music isn't very good either. And I'll explain why. So, remember how the other Mario Kart games, they had a bunch of nice scenery, they had a bunch of like either sharp turns or a lot of obstacles, they had a lot of stuff in between. You were constantly getting items, you were constantly just involved and engaged. You don't get that here. Alright, let's start this off. So I was able to boost right there. That's one of the mechanics of Mario Kart. Depending on when you boost, you can get, or depending on when you hold A, you can get a boost at the start, or you might burn out your engines. What I did there is just when the 2's about to fade, you hold the button down and you don't let go. Yeah. That's how you do boost in Mario Kart 8. So it's, I believe it's the same system as in Mario Kart 7. Coins have also been a return. Coins, I believe, increase your top speed the more you collect. Now, in this Rainbow Road, I mean, it's not too bad, but you're gonna start seeing it's just like they don't even change the course up. I think there's about 2 tracks that I played, at least of the new ones, that change the course up as you do laps. There's nothing really here. Well, except now I died. Oh, and this is another thing. So, the game, it's much easier than previous Mario Kart games. Like, remember in Double Dash where the screen went black and you were pretty much like, you could pretty much get screwed over hard if you got knocked off. But, you know, everyone would get that if they fell off. Well, here, you're pretty much pulled right back up and you only lose like 2 coins and that's it. They also nerfed drift, so at least in the newer ones, I believe. So it's a little bit harder, but like but when you fall off, it's like who cares because you barely lose any time. This is also one of the new items, by the way. So this is the Piranha Plant. It can kill you, and you can keep it still. Welcome to Mario Kart 8, where there are no consequences. The game isn't very fun, I gotta say. It's... and a lot of you saying, well, it looks really fun, but like when you start playing a lot of these tracks, or if you... Actually, I should take that back. In one-player mode, it's decent enough, but the challenge isn't there. Like, as you can see, I'm already, like, I'm commentating, and I'm playing a game, and I'm playing this map without a mini-map. So let me rephrase all that. I'm playing a racetrack with no mini-map while commentating at 100cc. I should be having my ass handed to me. I am not. That is not the case. I am completely dominated. The AI is very, very weak. Just there's almost no challenge. Like, I'm not even concentrating. That's another big problem with this. The AI is just so weak. Now 150cc mode fares a lot better. By the way, there's coins now. You can get coins as items now, even if you have max. So that it completely wastes your time in that sense. So yeah. The 150cc mode is harder, but you know what? I think it's only harder because I just haven't memorized the tracks yet, and there's no mini-map. It's otherwise very easy. Also, when you start the game, you have to wait till you take off to pause it. So I'll show you. Ugh, excuse me. Let's do the N64 version of Yoshi Valley because a lot of people might be disappointed when they see this. I believe it was this one, I'm not sure. They changed a lot of the classic ones, and not just like remake them in HD, they just changed them all together. And made them like less fun, if you can believe that. I mean, they were fun, they were really fun to get into, so it's like, why would you change them in any way? I screwed that up. Alright, so I forgot what I was talking about. So when you hit pause, you can't restart the race. Now, in Grand Prix, I get this. But here, like, when you're just doing these simple races, that doesn't really unlock anything. You can't do that. You can't even do that with your friends in multiplayer mode. Which is kind of ridiculous. And you can only pause until after... You can only pause until after you... Like, 3 seconds after you start the race. So it's like, oh yeah, I need to pause. Like, can we pause before we start the race? Like, no, you have to wait till it starts. Just when when it just goes 3, 2, 1, go. And then you can pause it. Which is so stupid. It's just such a terrible idea. You can play on the Wii U gamepad if you do... I think with 5 players it's a little different. You can have your own screen. But if you do 2-player, the screen on the Wii U gamepad is split. So you can't do like have second players on the big monitor, first players are on the big television screen, first players on the gamepad screen. Which is completely it's just so dumb because that means that you can't do so that like you could have try again. Words are hard. What you could have done was have 2 players on the main screen so they can do 60 frames per second, and then you can have a third player on the gamepad. So, and then they can also do 60 frames per second. So, you could do 3 players 60 frames per second, but no, they're like, oh yeah, we want you to do 30 frames per second. Because we don't want anyone to have an unfair advantage, right? Well, the Wii U gamepad player has the map on his gamepad screen. And there's no option to take it off. So, yeah, throw that argument out the window. There's nothing like, oh yeah, we don't want them to have an unfair advantage. No, it's just lazy programming. Again, I'm not even paying attention, and I'm still completely dominating. Now, in the GameCube version, I recall getting the crap kicked out of me if I even at 100cc, it was somewhat difficult. On 150, you would get completely destroyed. And that's if you memorize, even if you memorize the tracks and like the item placements and everything like that, you would still get dominated. You have to get back into a groove, and you'd have to get, practice and get good again. Here, it's like, I bet I can start dominating 150cc the minute I recognize those maps. There's no consequences for dying, like I've said before. And the game has also become about how many coins you can get. I mean, that's essentially it. Whoever has the most coins basically wins. But the tracks are so dull. I just barely want to play this game with the AI or even locally. Like locally because like maybe 2 players at max, but the because it splits the screen vertically. If I haven't mentioned this, 2-player mode splits the screen vertically, so what happens is that some maps are almost unplayable because of this, because you have such a low field of view. Making some old tracks, like I was playing some old tracks and some new ones, and we were just flying into walls. We couldn't see anything. We just had such a narrow field of view. On 3-player mode, it's a little bit better, probably because they adjust the camera more, or in a better sense. But yeah. It's bad. I'm sorry, but I'm just so... This one they really screwed up. They took away a lot of the... Now, anyone who's familiar with Dry Desert on GameCube knows there's a lot of pokey, and they're huge, and they're huge obstacles in the game. They can be... If you're not precise, you can get really screwed over by them. From what I can tell, they're much smaller, and you can also destroy them, actually. So now that actually does a cool mechanic, like that. Like if that actually landed on me, it would have hit me, and it would actually hurt me. Like you don't just pass through it. Oh, by the way, this is the boomerang weapon, by the way. But no, I actually want to do this. Remember that Sarlacc monster? Nope, he's not there anymore. Remember when you went down there and you got really screwed over hard because it slowed you down and then you would get thrown off the track a lot. You don't get that anymore. This is one of the new weapons, by the way. This is the boomerang, which it depends on how many throws you can get on it, I believe. Yeah, okay, so I believe it has 4 charges, but it depends on how, if you throw it, you lose 1. But if you hit someone, I don't think it does use a charge. Or every time you throw it, you lose a charge, but if you can hit like 3 people, it won't burn a bunch of charges. And you can hit people on the way back, so that's kind of cool. And the piranha plant I showed you earlier. Or I didn't. I've done 2 recordings so far, so I'm trying to remember which one I was doing. Ugh. I'm going to do. You know what? This is pointless. I'm going to show you online mode because I think you get the point. Now, online mode is the only thing I would say is the most standout feature of this game compared to all the other Mario Karts. Online play is really good. It's solid. If you are going to get this game, get it for the multiplayer. Well, I mean the online multiplayer, not the offline stuff. I can't go back from this menu. Okay, whatever. Now, loading times can be a little bit long. We're not getting a lot of people here for some reason. I don't know why, because I mean, even though I picked regional, I've gotten games with tons of players, so either Nintendo doesn't know how to manage its servers, or people are just waiting. And like there are really a ton of games that are full and people are just waiting to join. Alright, so here we are. More players have joined, and it'll start soon. So you can pick course to select from, or you can do random. It'll choose not just from these, but from a bunch of others, if I recall correctly. And you don't have to unlock any of them, so that's nice. Let's do one of the new ones. You can also do these text things, so... which is alright. I don't have anything against that. Now, I played worldwide, and it's pretty good, actually. The online lag, there's pretty much no online lag. It can take a while, but I was basically playing with someone from Portugal, Japan, and Canada, and we had no issues. Oh, I screwed that up. I'm used to the double dash. Now, because there's no AI, it's not generic patterns and terrible movement. It's actually more live. So, the online mode is really good. There's no lag. There is, well, at least no lag that the human eye can detect. Or distinguish properly. It's more engaging. Because you're playing with actual players, it's more unpredictable, and it's just insanely more fun. And it's more hectic too. It's just, and you can see by the tone of my voice, I'm actually getting a little bit happy. Like, this is fine. This is what makes the game a lot better. And oh my god, fail. So this is the piranha plant, if I haven't showed you it already, which is one of the better items. Gives you this little boost, and it can also eat stuff that's coming at you. So it's nice. There was also I should mention some more items. There is also a music box, which I believe hits enemies around you, but the main purpose is that it's supposed to destroy blue shells. Now, it's kind of rare, so don't think it as an immediate blue shell nerf. And I can see that item, like, okay, like, people are gonna come back at me and say, well, they don't want you to reserve items because of that, because they would make that box overpowered and it would completely break blue shells. Well, again, they don't have to reserve, like, let you hold in all items. Like, you only have to hold in shells, and you don't have to hold in that music box. I mean, you don't have to, like, they shouldn't have it so that you could hold in that music box. Like stars, you can't do that with them either. There's also another ability which is ripped from 7, it's the 8, which is essentially all the items in the game, except for the blue shell, if I remember correctly. There's 2 types of blue shells, I should also mention, which is one of them was ripped from Mario Kart 7. I'm not going to stop harking on that. They are ripping it right from other Mario Kart games. Like I said, this feels like a Mario Kart 7 HD re-release. Well, a re-release with some new tracks. I'm just not even paying attention. So there's 2 blue shells. One that travels on the ground, which can hit players on the way to the first place person. Oh my god, terrible. And then it can also hit. And then there's the one that's the flying one, which is the traditional one, which hits players in first place. It just goes right for them. It's a little bit faster. And I should mention the zero gravity feature. There's a reason why I haven't mentioned that. Is because it's barely even worth talking about. It's just there. Like, sometimes you can go sideways, and sometimes if you go like you can go on a side of a wall, you can go sideways. So if you like to control your racers sideways, this is the game for you. But it's really kind of pointless. It doesn't really increase your speed or anything. It doesn't really do anything. And in that sense, I gotta say, the mechanics in this game are just, the new additions, it's just so weak. Like, I still think there are some good tracks, I still think there is some good music, but there's nothing nearly as good as something like Double Dash, Wii, or Mario Kart 7, where you just had that, like, upbeat, amazing theme that you could just snap to, where it just got stuck in your head. No, it's not nearly as it's just not as fun as those. You're not getting items as fast either, and you're not getting as interesting items. Again, going back to Double Dash, because you had all these special items, you can get more cool stuff and just throw them at people, and you would always have the right item for the right time. And everyone felt like they had it. Unless you were bad at Mario Kart or you had terrible luck. But yeah, that is just... The biggest issues I have with the game are the tracks, the music, and the items. And that is basically just a deal breaker, in my opinion, for a Mario Kart game. There is I should mention the promotional offer they have for this game. I'm gonna screw this up, aren't I? Oh, no, I'm not. Cool. I should mention the promotional item, promotional thing they were giving away. So if you buy this game new, or at least you get it used, and you find an unused game code, if you redeem it to Club Nintendo, you get either... This is the zero gravity... One of the zero gravity areas. So you can get boosts here, but, you know, that's about it. You can... Oh, God, what was I talking about? Yeah, okay, the promotion. You can get Mario Party... Or... Oh my god. Wii Party U, which... Alright. I don't feel good about that. Zelda Wind Waker HD Edition, which I highly recommend. Highly. It's amazing. Or you can get New Super Mario Bros. U, which is another Mario game. You know what to expect. Or you can get Pikmin 3, which is... I've played a little bit of it. That's the one I got. It's actually pretty good. I never played any of the Pikmin games really before. I played a little bit of 2, but never really got into it. I think you can get into 3. It's kind of sort of like an adventure strategy. Okay, back to Mario Kart. So, I'd rather be talking about other games. That's how much this game brings me down. And a lot of you are going to be like, well, it looks really fun. Yes, but I played every Mario Kart game. Yeah, actually I have. I've played every Mario Kart game. Double Dash probably the most. And I just, compared to the other ones, I'm just not seeing anything new here. But at the same time, they always brought something new. Even 7. Like, they brought the kart customization. Which was, or maybe that was done in Wii, but it was a lot better than 7. 7 had a better online multiplayer than Wii. Yeah, 7 was just an improved version of a lot of other stuff. It wasn't as unique as Double Dash, but it was still pretty good. because it added all those new additions. This doesn't add anything new. And some people are going to be okay with that, and that's fine. But the item selection is poor. The tracks aren't very good. And battle mode's completely broke. It's just completely stripped down. Try to do that. It's a technique I have where I just stop at first place. I should have seen that coming. Yeah. Mario Kart, everyone. I'm pretty much going to stop right here because I'll just start rambling more. It's available for $60. Also available on the eShop, I believe. I'd still recommend checking it out if you like if you like what you see. For the most part, you also are interested in the multiplayer. And get it new or just get it soon before that promotion ends and you can get the game, because it'll give you a better value, because it's really hard for me to see spending $60 on this thing by itself with nothing else. Alright, thank you for watching and thank you for supporting the channel. Have a good one.